12:04 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday. That means it's Joe Steckler Day, helping seniors of Brevard. And here on this chilly Wednesday afternoon with a wind chill making it feel like 41 degrees is the host of the show, Joe Steckler. Hi, Joe.
Hi. Thank you, John. And I don't care if you want to call it wewind chill factor or anything else. It's freezing. You know what off out there. It's cold, and I don't like that cold weather. We'll talk about that in a minute. First, let me introduce the show. I get ahead of myself. I get excited when you talk about cold weather because I don't want to be where it's cold. I don't like it. But this is Joe Steckler, folks, and we started helping seniors in 2011, and we started the show to inform, educate, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors with very, very many resources here in Brevard County. And there's just a heck of a lot of them. And as we work our way through these new programs we're starting with helping seniors here in 2020, we're finding out more things that are available to seniors and maybe better ways to do things in the future. And that's what this whole thing is. I did a radio and television show many years ago called Thinking Out of the Box. And it's really something you have to do in elder care. It's not a stable program. It's not static. It changes, and you have to be willing to have a program that can see its way clear to promote the changes and advocate for, and fight for things that are not happening. And that's one of the tasks of helping seniors, because you walk a fine line when you talk about fundraising and talk about lobbying and what you can do and what you can't do. And so we've been very, very careful about that over the years. But I've been involved in senior care now since 1986, and that's a long time. And I found out a lot of things that I didn't know and things that I learned. And last night I was thinking about some things, but I'm going to talk about that during the show today. But here with me in the studio are Jennifer Helin from Seniors Helping Seniors and Kerry Fink from TYG Media, who is our media director for Helping Seniors. And having said that, I'd like to get Jennifer to talk first, because Kerry and I are going to kind of butt in with when she's talking, because Jennifer has a program, and I'll let her tell you about it. But I was thinking last night as I was trying to sleep about some of the things that Jennifer does that we never really talk about, and it's something that when you hear what she has to say, you need to tell more people. Tell your friends about this, because there are so many ways that we can do a better job of helping seniors that we just don't know about it. So having done my spiel this morning for just a few minutes, Jennifer, just start at the very, very basic elements of what you do and how you help people.
Well, good morning, Joe. I'm sorry I'm keeping you up at night.
Well, you kept me awake thinking about your doggone program, because Jennifer, people need to be kept awake. People need to be challenged about what's not happening, and that's why I get excited about different things that we can talk about.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. One of the things that you and I were just talking about is that when we have a new customer, we go out and do an assessment, and that assessment really is trying to look at that whole person and what they need. And I'm a firm believer in using all of your resources, creating a team. So we can be very helpful, but I have no problem pulling in outside resources to come in and help a family. Did a couple of assessments yesterday and one this morning, and one of the things that we talk about is meals. And you and I were just mentioning that a lot of times seniors have a hard time with meal planning. Either they're choosing the wrong foods, or they are choosing what's just quick and easy, or maybe they're not eating enough. Every situation's a little bit different. So we'll talk about what their breakfast, lunch, and dinner looks like, and we'll talk about what's easy for them to prepare, what they have been doing, maybe what some healthier options would be. And one of the nice things about hiring seniors to go out to help other seniors, they've been there, they've done that. They've had the big families where they've, had tons of groceries, and now they've had to learn how to pare that down and shop and cook for one person, so they can pass on that knowledge of healthier options that still are quick and easy, but are going to be much better for them nutritionally, making sure that they are getting protein, the fresh fruits and veggies. If there's diabetes, if there's a food allergy, how to work around those. So it's great to be able to put those people together. So we're meeting the needs, the everyday needs of our seniors.
Well, Jennifer, and Kerry too, and Kerry, pick up on this. You can add to what I'm saying, because you see things in a different perspective too, I know. But having said that, we often think that in a couple that it's always the man that dies first. It's not always true. And you've got the woman that dies, and the man is left alone and doesn't know a doggone thing about turn the darn stove on. And they'll go out to different restaurants, and they'll get things at fast food places, and they tend to live on stuff like that. And they buy it and bring it in their house. And I have to say it, I love sandwiches, but a steady diet of sandwiches is not good for you. But when you were talking about meal planning, I think there's some very, very basic things that we could maybe do a better job of. We've got meals on wheels, meals on wheels, not meals for
right.
wheels, meals on wheels. But they help just a certain few. They don't make a dent in what people really need to think about nutrition and everything. And that's a whole new area that we need to educate our senior population about, is nutrition. And I'm thinking particularly about men. But, I made a comment about developing a program about where a lot of seniors, as we get older, we don't like to eat that much. And what we eat, we like to enjoy. And I'm gonna plug Perkins Muffins, because Perkins Muffins, I always accuse Cherou's, the owner of Perkins, of using a magnifying glass on his showcase for his muffins, because I said, Cherou's, those muffins can't really be that big. And not only are they big, but they are a meal in themselves. And so when they have a banana nut muffin there, and the best thing to do is tell them not to nuke that thing in a microwave. Just let them break a muffin out like it is and eat it without nuking it. And you sort of pick the top that off with a cup of coffee. And as a senior, I know I don't do that often, but when I do have a chance to do it, I enjoy it. And maybe stores like Publix and some of these others. Maybe we could talk to other places that would make a larger muffin, that seniors could get something like that, but not just muffins. They, like Publix has soups. They make a great soup over there, and but you were talking about meal planning, Jennifer, and I'd like for you to talk a little bit more about that for seniors, because this is something that's a basic. Kerry, before we let Jennifer talk, you look like you want to say something.
Well, sure. I was going to make the observation. We have a lot of good assisted living homes in the area, and many of them are part of the Helping Seniors family. I could mention Hibiscus Court. I could mention Zon Beachside, even smaller places like a place like Home. And those places, they all have this idea of having a nutritionist who helps design the food program, because we've all seen it. We've seen people who may be really kind of almost on their last leg trying to live independently, and then they get into a good assisted living home and they thrive. And part of it is getting proper nutrition. And so I think one of the things that you and Jennifer are talking about this morning, and I didn't realize it until we were having this conversation before the show, is how often you guys get involved, Jennifer, and Seniors Helping Seniors, in making sure people are getting something beyond what the first thing to grab in the refrigerator might be, and maybe we don't feel like cooking, or maybe we don't feel like we just grab the Twinkie on the counter or something, and we're diabetic or something. And it seems like one of the things that you guys do, and we've talked about this so often, you help people stay at home cost effectively, which is, if that's their preference, they want to be at home, they want to try to go as far as they can, and you make that possible because you're able to walk in the door and help them on that whole food prep, food planning thing.
Right. We help with a lot of different things. And that's one of the things that we do look at the assessment. And as we're helping people, we're very honest. If we think they would be better served in an assisted living, then we will recommend that to the person and to the family, because there are times when, we can see with an objective eye that this person, even though they may be okay at home, they're not thriving. And if they were in a place like Hibiscus Court, like Zahn, that has lots of activities, there's a social life, we know that they would probably be better off served there. We will speak up and let them know that, go for lunch. Most of the places you can go for lunch and check them out and see if it would be a better fit.
Yeah, well, we got close to 700,000 people in Brevard County now. It's approaching that number. Mm-hmm. And we've got many, many, many thousands that go right back to that basic planning in the home, that seniors helping seniors sees these people. Right. And you cited a case about a guy that was going to eating. Yes, not everybody unfortunately can afford Hibiscus Court or Zahn Beachside. Mm-hmm. So we can come in once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and help people to be able to stay at home a little bit more, in a more cost-effective manner. So for him, he's going to Taco Bell once a week and getting one of those huge packs, and then he's eating off of that every day. And he's diabetic. So that was the first red flag for me, is this is not a good, healthy eating plan for this gentleman. We need to come in and see what we can do to work with him on making some better choices. We're not going to come in and say, you have to eat eggs every morning, but we're going to work with him. How receptive was he?
He's looking forward to something different. He would like variety. He's not a cook. He just is getting what's quick and easy. And he admitted that. So he said, having somebody come in and sit down and talk about different things, different options that will still be quick and easy, but maybe a healthier option and give him some more variety. He was really looking forward to that.
I had a classmate of mine, a Naval Academy classmate, and this guy lived in the area, and he and his wife had reached that point in their 80s, close to where I happen to be right now, and they were having a hard time getting around, just like I have a hard time getting around. Fortunately, Kerry gets around a heck of a lot better than I do, and we come to depend on our partners a heck of a lot more as we get older, so we have to do everything we can to keep our partner healthy. That's why I like to try to take her out for dinner so that she doesn't have to cook as much and clean up as much, because, quite frankly, it's extremely difficult for me to stand up at the sink or stand someplace and help her. I can sit down. As she goes shopping at the grocery store, it's always my job to fold the bags and put stuff away like that. Mm-hmm. But I can do that while I'm sitting. And there are a lot of things that we can learn to do as we grow older, but unless people talk about these things on a radio show, or we have somebody come in our home to help with that planning, we never think about it. And we talk, and Kerry had mentioned assisted living, but I want to really stick with what seniors helping seniors can do, because you said that you can go into a home 2 or 3 times a week to help them, and many times, if a person has a hard time walking, and you can't really walk the aisles in a store, but you know what you want, you send somebody out to a house for roughly $18 or $19 an hour in a package of 2 hours, right?
Right, we have a 2-hour minimum.
A 2-hour minimum. But think about it, folks. You got somebody that comes out 3 times a week, And one time they come out and you sit down, you got your food list all made out for them. They go to the grocery store for you, and they bring that stuff home and they put it away. They're doing something you can't do. They get what you want, and you spend roughly maybe $120 a week.
Well, and for a lot of our folks too, we're looking in the fridge, we're helping them make the grocery list. We're cleaning the things out of the fridge that shouldn't be there anymore, maybe expired food.
Keeping them safe.
Exactly. So it's
Right.
The whole grocery shopping is the meal planning, the creation of the grocery list so that people aren't spending. That's one of the things with our ladies. When you're used to shopping and cooking for a family of 4 and then all of a sudden, that stops, but you're kind of still in that same mindset of I've got to cook this big meal. And then it goes to waste. So sometimes it's paring down that list. We don't need a 5-pound bag of potatoes. We can just get 2.
Yeah. But the one thing that we're not touching on, Jennifer, is the fact that all the people that work for you, and I would imagine that some of your ladies might be single people.
Yes.
And maybe their spouse has passed away. And they're still young enough where they're working for you and they're doing this, and they understand.
Exactly. They've been there themselves, so they understand how to work with that.
It can help the people plan for a reduced amount of foods that you have to buy in order to feed yourself. And I got a daughter that would just love what we're talking about right now because she's a nutritionist. So she calls herself a dietitian, something specialist or something. And she's involved with this nutrition and Juice Plus and everything. And she would love the fact that we're talking about nutrition. And Lee Sheldon, Dr. Lee Sheldon, the periodontist, is one of our sponsors and is on the radio show. He would go bananas over something that we're talking about today because Lee is a big believer in healthy eating and getting people to eat the right things. But we're going back to what we're talking about is basic care and how people need to know more about what we're doing. And when we talk about this kind of stuff on the radio show, you, our listeners, you need to think about what we're talking about. You need to take to heart what we are talking about because I am very, very certain that many of you know people that are having the problems that Jennifer talked about now.
And don't be afraid to have someone come out and talk to you. Because, like I said, we look at the whole person and we look at the whole situation and try to figure out what the best plan is for them. But they're still in the driver's seat. They're directing that traffic. And there are so many resources out here in Brevard County that people just don't know about. Right. So going out, maybe we're a good fit, but maybe we're not. And maybe there's someone else out there that would be a better fit or someone that could work in conjunction with us. Like the gentleman yesterday, he had a big Navy tattoo on his arm. I said, you're obviously a veteran. Yes. Have you heard about the Vets Driving Vets program through the VA? There's a lot of things out there that people just don't know. And if you don't know, ask. It's okay to ask.
And in fact, I keep mentioning the number 75,000 roughly veterans here in Brevard County. I'm sure we probably have more than that now. But the Patrick Air Force Base has opened up its facilities to veterans, to the commissary store and the base exchange. And, these are ways that people can help themselves save money. But not only that, they can meet other people there. And you never know, just walking down the aisle of a store talking to somebody, you might meet somebody that you've got something in common with. And too often we close ourselves off as we get older to realizing that there are other people in the same boat that we are that might want friendship. And that's extremely important. But along with what Jennifer and I are talking about, Kerry, you met with a guy named August Velton yesterday, and thinking about what we're trying to do here in 2020 with our new advocacy program. Before we get to the mid-show break, how about taking a few minutes to tell our listeners about the new program that Augie's going to do over at Zon Beachside here, something different.
Yeah, we do so many things now because we have so much potential. There's a beautiful facility over there at Zon Beachside. They have a lovely ballroom and, of course, the where we are, the senior Resource Center of Brevard is co-located there. And so we're doing a number of seminars there. And after a while, we'll talk about one that's coming up tomorrow that you don't want to miss. But yeah, it's really quite exciting. August Velton, who is a financial planner, sort of a retirement expert, and he always explains one of the things that he talks about is you have one mode of planning when you're in your working years and you're getting ready for retirement. And he said there's a different mode that has to kick in once you've retired. And he said one of the things he told me yesterday, he said retirees often think their tax bill is going to go down when they retire. So when they're looking at what they have projected for income, they think they're going to have a lot more disposable income to work with after paying taxes. He said you have to be careful with that because if you didn't plan correctly, all the things related to Social Security, all the things related to this new Secure Act that you need to understand how it impacts not only you but your heirs. He said there's a lot of things that people don't understand that are part of that equation. And so to talk about that, we're creating a series of events that are going to be coming up at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. They're free for helping seniors listeners. And he's, as you know, August, in addition to his successful financial planning company, he is also with a group called AFES, the Adult Financial Education Services Organization, which is a nonprofit, and they do these trainings. He teaches over at FIT. He teaches at the Government Center. But he's going to bring this part. We're going to talk about Social Security. We're going to talk about the Secure Act, what it means for you in terms of the changes that you need to be aware of so that you don't inadvertently box yourself in a corner. All those are going to be made free and available to helping seniors, people that are interested, the general public, at some evening events that we're going to create over at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard.
Well, that's what's exciting to me because I talked to the executive director, or I guess Greg Kennedy he's the guy that really built the place over there and oversaw everything, and now he's the guy that's really running it. And the owner's also got an office located there and spends time between here and in England. But Greg is really supporting elder advocacy, and it's good for Zon's business, but you think about this. They may be able to take care of 130 or 140 people, but they're making their facility available for hundreds, even thousands of people to attend seminars if they want to come to them. Because you start thinking about having advocacy group meetings once a month, talk about having a fibromyalgia support group, having this thing that Augie's putting on about retirement planning for seniors in the evening, because some of these other programs are all done during the day.
Right.
We make the assumption that all the seniors don't want to go out at night and they're going to do all these things during the day. Well, there are a lot of people that need to attend these types of things that work.
Right. And one of the points that we talked about, we said we really haven't done this yet in the evening, but we thought it was worth a try because he said sometimes the audience for this event, and particularly because of changes with the Secure Act, really affect potentially the adult children of people who are aging, because they've changed how the rules about required minimum distributions work and things like that in this new Secure Act. So you really want to learn this. So he said if we put it in the evening, we're going to have the ability to not only have seniors there, but perhaps people who are approaching retirement get there as well.
That's right. And too many times we neglect the 50 and 60-year-olds that really, really need to know more about this, because right. I'll be quite honest, I think I was 45 or 46 when I made my first investment in stocks.
Wow.
And people say, well, you need to start earlier. Yeah, you really do need to start earlier. But when you're raising a family, by golly, and in those days, if you were buying a home, the interest rate was 16%.
Wow.
It's a lot different than 3.5% or 4.5% now. So there are things that change as you live your life. So that's why you have to be open to doing things like Jennifer's talking about.
Planning.
Yes. Planning. It all makes a difference. Folks, I want you to stay with us, because on the second half of the show, we're going to talk more about our elder advocacy programs we're kicking off here in 2020 over at the Zon Beachside facility. And I want Kerry to talk about the seminars that are happening. And we want to do more with Jennifer about what Seniors Helping Seniors can do and how she gets people from the lower levels of care to more advanced levels of care. So with that thought, we're going to take our mid-show break.
12:33 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday, always Joe Steckler Day, helping seniors of Brevard. And right now, let's get back to more of the show. Here's your host, Joe Steckler.
Thank you, John. I'm glad I put my earphones back on so I got that because I had them off and I was sitting there talking. I watched Eric back there. I wasn't sure what he was doing. He's holding his hand
I'm not
up
sure
in the
either.
air. I think he's feeding Jim candy. Is that what it is? Yeah. Don't eat all the Heath bars out of that thing, okay? Because that's my favorite. We're not supposed to talk about eating candy, are we?
Everything in moderation. And dark chocolate is good for you.
Yeah, and apparently it's allowed in impeachment hearings too. I understood. You can have milk, water, or candy.
Well, my wife doesn't know that I know where she's got this big bag of M&Ms at home, and I know where they are.
She knows now.
And so I'll have to find them.
She's going to hide them again.
Well, folks, you go over to Sam's, and they got these. It's a 2.5-pound jar of M&Ms, and the top on that thing is so big that you can get your whole fist down there and grab a big handful of M&Ms, and you put them on your lap. And where the real challenge comes in is to eat the M&Ms one at a time, not throw a great big handful in your mouth. Eat them one at a time.
That's showing great restraint.
Well,
so if you couldn't tell, Joe has a sweet tooth.
I know, but it helps. And quite frankly, I did an article about that, and I've got it at home. I was going through my old stuff, and here's this article I wrote for Florida Today years ago about how to use restraint in what you do. And I use the example of eating M&Ms one at a time. And I got a lot of people that talk to me about that article. I guess it depends what they're eating. The ones with the chocolate filled or the peanut filled, or now they've got the peanut butter filled ones. And
they keep coming up with nice combinations.
Yeah, they keep. And that's this is why it's hard when you start talking about senior advocacy, because there are so many new things that keep coming up. And I want to keep going. I want to talk more about seniors. When we say helping seniors and seniors helping seniors is us, the radio show. Seniors Helping Seniors is Jennifer Helin's program, which is a home care program. But Jennifer it works at the lowest level of care. And I want Jennifer to talk a little bit more about this because people need to understand that there are elements of care designed to fit each situation. Mm-hmm. And if we start at the most basic, Jennifer, we not only stand a chance to get the right levels of care, but we also can prevent ourselves from wasting our valuable financial resources on care that we don't need.
Right.
Talk about that.
So the Agency for Healthcare Administration oversees all of us. And that's who we report to. That's who licenses all of us, from me being a homemaker companion. That's our license, up to, Zon, who is an assisted living facility, the skilled nursing facilities, everyone in that whole level, or that whole ladder.
They're all regulated.
We're all regulated. So our license is kind of on that bottom rung of the ladder, where we specialize in people who are still independent but need a little help. And we are many times able to start with them. Maybe they've just lost their license, or they've come out of the hospital, they need an extra hand. And we've had folks that we have helped over the last 8 years and been with them from beginning to end, and been able to stay with them and keep them in their homes independent, where they want to be. But there are times when, folks have a fall, something happens where they need hands-on care. They need personal care, help in the shower, help getting dressed. That's that next rung up of care. So that's when we will recommend another company coming in. In addition to, if you go higher up, there are companies that will have skilled nurses that can come in and do shots, it may be insulin for a diabetic, do other services that require more of a skilled care. And of course, as you go up that rung, it does get a little bit more expensive, and especially if you want it there at home. So when you're traveling up that ladder, you start to look at costs, and maybe Hibiscus Court, Zahn Beachside would be more cost effective in taking care of that person. If they need 24/7 care, then what's the best option for that person?
Right.
One of the things that I find that I know I way back when was clueless about, and if you haven't been through it, you just don't know what you don't know. Someone takes a fall, they go into the hospital, they go into rehab, you come home with Medicare-based home health. You can ask for home health, and you can ask for whatever company you would like to have. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There are many different companies out there. So my aunt was just in the hospital. Hospital rehab, now home. We have Gentiva in with her, and they're going to help at home with occupational therapy. Kindred, yes. I've shown my age. Oops. Yep. Sorry, Bridget. But they're going to be helping with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and she's going to get a shower visit a couple of times a week, and that will last 6 weeks, 12 weeks, depending on what her needs are. And once that's over, then the goal is to keep her home. That's where she wants to be. Seniors Helping Seniors is going to be coming in. We're going to be sitting with her a couple of days a week, but we're also going to have another company coming in and helping her with showers, because she's going to be living with my cousin. She does not want my cousin helping her in the shower. That's a kind of a personal thing. So right. We're going to be doing that as a team. So it's the family, it's Seniors Helping Seniors, it's a hands-on company coming in and doing showers. But we're also taking advantage of the help from Kindred at Home. Likely we're going to be looking at help from hospice. And hospice, everyone just shudders at that word, but hospice doesn't mean it's going to happen in the next couple of days. Mm-hmm. My uncle was on hospice. They took such good care of him that he came off of hospice. He lasted another 2 years and then went back on hospice. So again, taking advantage of all of those services that hospice is covered by Medicare. Kindred is paid by Medicare, taking advantage of all of those services. And then with, Seniors Helping Seniors, with family, creating that team, we can keep her home where she wants to be.
And isn't that really part of being not only a smart consumer, but being effective? Because you're not going to acquire services that you don't need. You're going to, just like if you had a roof leak, you would have somebody come over and say, I need to fix this part of the roof. You don't necessarily need to re-roof the whole house. You're going to find what you need for where you are. And that's, I think, Joe, what you always talk about in terms of coming up with an aging plan, is to think about those gradations of service that you might need at certain points along the way.
You're right. And when you talk about roofing, I remember years ago, and I wasn't even a senior when I did it, we had a house in Falls Church that the lower part of the house needed a section of the roof replaced. My son and I decided that we would do it, and it was pure misery. I was sure glad I was over when I got there doing that. I said I was never going to do a roofing job again. And we try so many things. I'll since Jennifer's opened something up here, I'll talk about something very personal on the air right now. I've got a brother that's in hospice, and my brother wouldn't mind me talking about this because the man has been in agony for the last couple of years, and it's been pure hell for his family because his daughter is one of his daughters is really taking care of her mother and father, who are both in the same age bracket I am right now. And my brother was he's on oxygen, and it was just really was hard. We talked all the time, and we're very honest with each other, and they put him on hospice, and explained it to him. He understands it, and I wasn't sure that he did understand it. And I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and I know now that he does understand it. And when we talk, he's got a better attitude. I mean, I can understand what he's saying, and even though I'm hard of hearing, I can still understand him. But the whole family, I see a difference in how they're approaching things, because my brother's not hurting, right. And he had a catheter in, and a lot of us as we get older have to undergo these kind of things, and we think we'd be better off without the catheter. And he had him take the catheter out, and he told me, he said, Joe, he said it was pure hell. He said that the pain when they took that catheter out, when his bladder wouldn't function, and they even morphine did not cut the pain. And they put the catheter back in, and he says, it's going to stay. Mm-hmm. And we're not taking it out again. But his attitude and his whole thing, because he's not in pain like that, he feels so much better. Mm-hmm. And hospice can help. And he could pass at any time, but the prognosis is that he won't pass that quickly. But hospice has enabled him to at least enjoy his family and be able to talk to them and not be in pain, and talk to me and talk to my other brother. So I don't mind sharing these things, because I think that if we open ourselves up to others at times and tell them our personal experiences, how we feel, and all the radio and television shows I've ever done since I started doing them, I have always been honest with my listening audience and told them how I feel about certain things. And folks, I'm going to tell you, you just don't know how many people have called me and have written to me and asked me questions about certain very personal things. I don't mind answering them, because I think the world needs to be better informed. And that's why I'm excited about 2020 here, and what we're going to be able to do mm-hmm. with our advocacy program. But Kerry, before I forget about it, you said you wanted to talk about something that's going to happen with our seminars. Before we get to the end of the show, talk about what's going to happen tomorrow, what people need to know about.
Sure. Like we talked about before the break, we are committed to doing education. That's one of the most important things we do with helping seniors of Brevard. In fact, we've titled the person that answers the phone, Kim Bernard, when you call our Helping Seniors Information Senior Helpline. I'm going to give that number, so I'm going to give you a moment to grab a pencil for that. But when you call her, that's her title. She's an education specialist, because what she exists to do is help you develop solutions for your own aging plan. And that's what we try to do at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. So I'm going to give you this telephone number for two reasons. Number one, so you know if you need help yourself, it's a great place to call, but also if you want to RSVP for tomorrow's event. So let me give you that number. It's area code 321-473-7770. 321-473-7770. And tomorrow, what's going on at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard is our community education series. It's a free 1-hour seminar. They're always kind. They provide coffee, rolls, all kinds of fun stuff to munch on. But the main thing is the information.
Nutrition, yeah. I like
Joe's Muffins.
Goes back to Joe, muffins. Your muffins. And let me also interject that one of Joe's favorite items is the chocolate chip cookies over there.
Their chef is awesome.
Oh, they got the best cookies in town.
So tomorrow's event after we've just been talking about this, is healthy living for the young at heart. And what
they'll be serving fruit.
Yes. So hopefully there will be something healthy to choose from as well. But our speaker is Sherry Garofalo. Now, she's the administrator with Forget Me Not Senior Care Advocates, who's also part of the Helping Seniors Network. And what she does is serves as a case manager who gets involved when somebody is in the hospital and trying to figure out the right medical steps and things like that. But she's actually going to talk about the title of tomorrow is actually East Meets West. So they're going to be talking about how there's a lot of medicine concepts that have been developed over 3,500 years in Chinese and Eastern health ideas. So also we're going to have Diane Zizzo with doTERRA Essential Oils. They're going to talk about how essential oils can transform the way you manage your health. And also Dr. Kevin Kilday, who's another part of the Helping Seniors Network. He operates the Holistic Health Center, and he's going to talk about holistic approach to pain relief and even some cancer treatments that they've been successful with and things like that. So you want to be there tomorrow at 10 a.m. And so, again, you can call our Helping Seniors Senior Information Helpline, 321-473-7770, and make a plan to join us. And it's all free of charge. It's part of our outreach into the community. So we hope we see you there.
And I'll pick up on that and say that when we talk about senior advocacy, follow my articles, folks, in Hometown News. They're in there every other week, and maybe I start getting in there weekly if I can write the number of articles that need to be written. But one of the things to pick up on is the homeless part and the affordable housing. This is one thing that we always somehow seem to gravitate toward on the radio here is affordable housing. And on the way over to the show this morning, we came down the O'Galley. We crossed the river at O'Galley there, and there was a lady, a homeless lady, standing there, and Jerry said something, and I said no, and I said, and she took I'll just tell you what. She took a $20 bill out and motioned for the lady, and she came over and she handed the lady the bill, and you could just see the surprise in the woman's face when she saw the fact that it was a $20 bill when she was maybe expecting a couple of bucks or maybe a $5 bill. But we had a very, very quick conversation and talked about prayer, and that we would put her on our prayer list, and she got my name, and she said she would pray for me. Mm-hmm. And you could tell by the way the woman responded, you could see that she was very, very sincere in what she was saying. So we don't, and I'm very, very guilty of judging people when I shouldn't be doing it. I'll be very honest about it. And I thought to myself after the fact that I after I didn't want to do it, the fact that Terry did it, I thought on the way to the show here what a good thing it was that she had done that, and I should have been reaching for my wallet easier than she could, because I could have got mine out easier. These are everyday happenings, and this is why it's so important, I think, that as we enter the year 2020, that more people get involved in advocating for seniors. I don't know how many of you listen to our governor's State of the State message, his talk, or read about it in the paper. But if you get it, if you read it, if you can find the word senior in there any place, I would like for you to do that, because I read it and I listened to him. I never caught one word there about helping seniors in 2020, and this is one of the things that we're going to talk about with our senior advocacy program this year, is that our legislators need to think about using the funds that are developed by the state for affordable housing, put those funds to use for the intent that they were designed for when these things were set up, and we're not doing that. And this is we're going to try to uncover more of these things in the advocacy program and build a real program that we can cause our commissioners to start fighting for us at a local level. And before I run out of time here, Jennifer had mentioned something to me, and my wife just reminded me with a note that we wanted to talk about scams this morning, because there are some new scams out in the on the scene right now, and there are more and more of these phone calls being made. And we've gotten some of them ourselves, and we ignore them. But sometimes you pick the phone up, and you think it's a valid phone number, and it's local, but it's one of these robocalls, and you don't know where they're coming from. Don't talk to them. Hang up on them. And Jennifer, you had mentioned to me that there was some scams coming out. What are some of the ones that you were thinking about?
Well, unfortunately, because of what time of year it is, everyone's thinking about taxes and starting to have their taxes done. And we always see an uptick in Social Security scams, tax scams this time of year. There will be, if you need your taxes prepared, AARP will help you with those. Go on the website. They'll have different locations throughout the county that they'll do them for free. Highly suggest that versus going online. For our seniors, because there are a lot of scams. The Social Security, the IRS, will not call you. They will send you a letter. So there is going to be a lot of phone calls between now and then. Don't listen to the phone call. I know I've had several just myself where my Social Security number has been used in Texas for the drug trade.
Oh, wow.
But everyone in my office has also gotten that same call, so apparently we're all in trouble. But one of the ladies in my office, her mom just got a call, a scam call, and she went ahead and pressed 1 to tell them to put them on her do not call list. And when she tried to say that, they started swearing at her. So don't press 1. Don't try to talk to them. Just hang up. Do not engage these folks. They are like I said, Social Security office, IRS. They are not going to call you. They will send a letter. Be very careful of these phone calls. Never pay a bill for Social Security saying that you owe $10 on taxes. There's got to be a letter, official letter, and even if you get a letter, you sometimes might be wise to call and find out if you really have a tax overdraft or a tax due or anything like that. Kerry, you were sort of nodding your head. Was there any other scams that you had heard about?
Yeah, there's one that Phil Archer's office, the state attorney, publishes a newsletter, and we put it back out on our social media as well. But he's talking about one about back and knee brace fraud. And apparently what's happening is a lot of people are calling saying you can get free or low-cost back or knee braces. And so what they're saying is when you get that call, they say, hang up right away. No one from Medicare is going to contact you with such an offer. It's a scam. And they say a lot of times what they'll do is they'll ship these items to your house with a bill. And it goes on further to say, if you need a brace or other type of medical equipment, talk to your doctor. Sellers on the phone don't know what you need, and you may need nothing. And they say also, don't accept medical equipment you get in the mail, because unless you and your doctor ordered it, if it comes through the door and you didn't order it, you can keep it as a gift. Don't pay the bill for that. And so apparently this is something that, just like Jennifer, you're talking about, they're always looking for a way to get your information. Call and say, we can get all this done. Just give us your Social Security number, and we'll make sure you don't have to pay a bill or anything like that. So whenever you get those calls, just, Jennifer, like you said, hang up. Hang up the phone.
Yep. Again, if you don't, you got something else you want to talk about there?
Can I give a quick shout out?
Best Valentine's gift ever.
Best Valentine's, yes. Be a hero. Get a singing Valentine. So, as many of you know, my dad is a barber shopper. He's actually the president of the chapter this year for the Harbor City Harmonizers. They are doing their annual fundraiser, which is a singing Valentine. They do a lot of great good in the community. They do a lot of youth programs, music and education. The Cocoa High teacher just got a really nice award, and part of that was working with the barbershoppers. So if you would like a singing Valentine for your sweetheart, they come, they sing 2 songs, they bring you a box of chocolate and a rose. You can call, so hopefully you still have that pencil out, 321-259-7953 or 321-727-3338. I've been here 20 years now. I've only missed them once. So I've had 19 singing Valentines, and I can't wait for this year's.
It's incredible.
Your dad's been singing to you on Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Every
year.
He's doing it because it's your father. For goodness sake.
I'm a spoiled brat, and I love it.
Yeah. Folks, we're about out of time. But look, if we've said something on the show this morning that ticks an interest, advocacy, seminars, or anything, call Kim at 321-473-7770, and Kim will answer, and we are going, and she will have a list location for those AARP tax things. We'll try to get that over there, so make it a lot easier for you to call about. So having said that, I want to thank Jennifer for being on with us on the show, on the air today. And she was dressed all in black, folks, and she had knee boots on. Looks like she was battling the snow out there, but it still it shows that it can get cold in Florida. And thank you, Kerry, for being on the show this morning.
Absolutely.
And sure enjoyed it.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, listeners, for listening. We'll see you next week.